Previously on Lawyer Lloyd.
I don't have any way to get around town. I don't have a car.
Johnny Parnell, last thing I know was the insurance company was denying liability.
So this is our body shop.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically this is where we'll take the car apart.
I learned that our lawyer Lloyd has now a podcast.
Investigation of the collision scenes are imperative to be able to shape the case to a successful conclusion. Really what we look at is the who, the what, the where, the whens, all the things that we look at. What evidence is there to support that? There's always a different version. You can actually have two witnesses to a same event, have two different versions on it. Which version supports our clients the best? Which set of facts support our clients the best? So we obviously build the cases up to be able to shape this, to be able to present to the insurance company as to what our version is, as to if we have to go to court or go in the direction of litigation, how will we present that? Depositions and interrogatories, but most of the time we can get the cases resolved without having filed a lawsuit. Investigation, a proper investigation will ensure that the case can more readily settle than not having a good set of facts.
Welcome to Tulsa Law Talk. I'm your host, Stevie Fernandez, and today we're here with guest Lloyd Benedict. Hello, Lloyd. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, Stevie. I appreciate it.
Okay, so you, for over 30 years of experience that you've been working and solving thousands of cases here in the Tulsa area, tell us a little bit about yourself.
You know, Stevie, I get that a lot of times. People are like, you know, what's your background? You've got such a unique history on this stuff, and it's really good because it's what has made me who I am. You know, I should say that I was born in Canada. I came down to Oklahoma at a very young age, and that's a whole different story all by itself. And really, I was not an American citizen until like 1999, before I went to law school.
But I didn't hear you say not even one time.
No back bacon, no, hey, take off, eh? My folks, of course, are predominantly Canadian. I get all that. My mom's French Canadian. In fact, when I came down to the United States, I was bilingual. And they put me in kindergarten, and while I was there, they thought I had a speech impediment. So they put me into special education.
Oh, wow.
Which that was kind of cool, because I got the whole different attention levels going on and whatnot, and just got to play all day and no schooling. And one day, a person came down and said, what's his case? And they said, well, he has a speech impediment, so we're going to focus on some speech pathology and try to get him talking right. So they talked to me. It only took them like 2 minutes to realize that I didn't have a speech impediment. I was speaking French. So that's how that worked out.
Didn't say a whole lot for the school system that you were participating in.
Yeah, we won't get into that.
Well, so why should, if I'm involved in an accident, why should I get an attorney? Are the insurance company going to take care of me?
You know, really, there's your own insurance company and somebody else's insurance company. We refer to as first party and third party. First party being yours, third party being somebody else's. There's a contractual duty with your own insurance, and you pay them a premium. They do certain things. You crash your car, they fix your car. If you have medical payment coverage, then they'll reimburse you for medical bills up to the limits. So there's certain things your own insurance companies will do. The other person's insurance company, which we're all required to carry insurance when we drive. In Oklahoma, it's got to have $25,000. So when you're dealing with somebody else's insurance company, there's no contractual right. They can pretty much do whatever. There's no law that says they have to make a settlement. There's no law that they have to be nice to you. There's no law that says they have to be fair to you. So everything that they do, the dynamics that they do, of course, is to make money. And why do we even have to do anything with them? Because if we don't, who's going to pay for our car? Maybe you go to your own insurance company and talk to them, say, hey, can you fix my car and then go back against them and get reimbursed? Sure, you can do that. Some people don't want to do that. for all the right reasons. They don't want to bring their insurance into it and have some kind of surcharge where their claim's going to go up. So what do? You have to have persuasion. There's no rights, there's no laws, there's no protection, so you have to use persuasion. To have persuasion, you have to have some type of tool to go say, hey, you owe me to fix my car, or I'm injured and you guys need to pay my medical bills and I miss work, now you have to do this. What if they say, we're not going to do that, you were not hurt, you traded too long, there's not enough damage to your car, the body shop you picked we're not going to pay them, they're disputing, and this happens all the time. There's always that difference of opinion of the claim adjuster versus what you're dealing with, the reality of it. So why do you hire a lawyer? That person can come in, know what your rights are, know how to build the case, know how to persuade them, and ultimately get that case resolved.
Okay, but I'm a smart guy. I've seen The Good Wife and Law and Order. I can go on Google. Why can't I just do that negotiation myself?
Well, I guess if you have the ability to persuade people and get that far into it, you can try that, and sure, but here's the downside of it. If you're wrong and you don't calculate it and you don't build your case and you're not able to telegraph their punches or bring the objectivity to the case, what happens then? You may have inadvertently hurt your case. Then you decide to go ahead and go to a lawyer. That lawyer then is handed this platter of something that is of a mess, and he's going to have a little bit more of a difficult job trying to fix that than it would be if he got into early and built the case up the way it should be. So it can have a downside to try to do it yourself in that fashion.
And like you've got more experience, and like I know I've been involved in accidents myself or my family, and after the case was resolved and years later, I realized I forgot I should have done this, I should have done that, and having a lawyer that you work on a lot of different things all the time, and it almost kind of turns you into an investigator yourself.
Investigation is part of it. It's what I call the four gates. What we do when we get into it, we do investigate, we do evaluate, we do negotiate, and we do litigate. Everything has different stages into it. The investigation stage of it is really gathering the facts, learning what happened, getting all the information. When you're building that case, you want to have a good foundation to it. Facts are key to it. Accuracy, facts, communication, and the more information you can get, the better that case moves along. It's like the foundation to a house. You have a good foundation to build that house upon, then you're going to have a strong house. Same thing with a legal case.
And you've talked before when we weren't on the air and about, as you said, the house, and remind me of the vase that you've talked about.
Is it vase or vase?
Well, I don't know. Is it? Now you're talking French to me, right?
Well, we have to establish first, is it a vase or vase? Because it's, if it's a vase, then that may be a lesser item than a vase, which might be a more expensive item. At least that's how I interpret the vase versus vase dilemma. I don't know.
I gotcha. Okay, the vase or the vase. It sounded a little French to me, I guess. But you're the legalese guy. We're going to be right back. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about shaping the case, the importance of keeping a journal, which I guess I wouldn't even have thought about that. And it's all coming up to you right here on Tulsa Law Talk.
At what speed are bumpers designed to prevent damage from a car crash? Is it A, 8.5 miles per hour, B, 5 miles per hour, or C, 15 miles per hour?
Over 6,337 people are injured in a car crash each day in the United States, and each crash can affect your day-to-day lives from having nothing to drive to severe bodily injury. At Benedict Law Office, we are here to help you through this tragedy and get your life back on track. For over 25 years, Lloyd Benedict has been successfully handling and resolving personal injury cases. If you can't come to the office, we'll meet you, whether it's at your home, office, or by phone. Look us up on our website or call at 918-477-7000.
At what speed are bumpers designed to prevent damage from a car crash? Is it A, 8.5 miles per hour, B, 5 miles per hour, or C, 15 miles per hour? The answer is B, 5 miles per hour, but damage only, not bodily injuries.
All right, well, welcome back to Tulsa Law Talk. Attorney Lloyd Benedict here with us today. Now, after an accident, it's been a big change for a person's life, from the car being damaged to trying to take care of yourself. Help us focus on the importance of that person taking care of themselves after that accident.
pretty good, pretty big focus on that. But part of the case of that is obviously the impact an injury has on a person. Aside from the injuries, aside from the daily activities that are disrupted on that, and you can just imagine it's a domino effect. Just take your average person. Life is normal before. They go to work, they have a routine, they get up, they may take a shower, and they may take a certain while to get ready to go to work and have a cup of coffee, and then they drive on to work and then get to work and then have to do some type of physical activity or sedentary work, may sit in front of a computer. They get into a collision, and the injuries may not be as severe as broken bones, but they could be musculoskeletal injuries, the old sprain, strain to whiplash type injuries. Those by themselves, all of a sudden now when you get up in the morning, you're not bending over as easy to put those pants or shoes on. You get into the shower, your body may not be able to easily wash your hair like you did. It's taking a little bit more time. It's more painful to be able to do these activities. You can't do the chores around the house. The drive to work. Now you're driving to work, you may hear some screeching tires, you're going to be apprehensive. You may have this little thing stuck in your mind about the re-flashback of the accident itself. You may take your time to get to work. You may just try to navigate and go on autopilot like you normally do, but you're going to be disrupted. You can't turn your head to the left or right and look over your shoulders when changing lanes. You pull into the parking lot and do your normal routine right there. It's going to take a little bit more time to get out of it. Let's say it's snowing outside and you put your foot on the ground and you're hurt and you don't have that same injury balance you don't have the same mobility or stability that you had before. You get into work, you sit there, let's say you're in front of a computer all day. Now you're going to have to take more frequent breaks, you're going to have to stretch, you're going to have to take some medications, you're going to have to do something that is going to affect your day. You might have some lifting involved. Now you can't lift. Now you have to have accommodations. Now you might have headaches and you can't stare at a computer screen. Everyone's different. All the injuries are different. All the circumstances are different. There's literally a different million things that can happen that can affect a person's life, starting with the domino effect, starting with the collision, all the way down to the healing process until they return back to their pre-accident activities. And who knows how long that can take. So it can take a toll.
That kind of sounds like when we were talking about at the break the importance of keeping a journal once you had the accident, because you talked about all these things that all of a sudden are part of your life that weren't before.
Oh, yeah. Good point. The journal really is something that I ask my clients to kind of do along the way, because clearly 6 months from now, if I ask them what kind of activities did they have disrupted during the time that they were trying to heal, or it may have been a temporary disruption in their life, it may have been a permanent disruption due to their injuries, who knows. But it gives them a source to be able to put down, have some memory recall later on, to have a document that says, oh yeah, I forgot that we couldn't go down to Frontier City that day, or oh gosh, we couldn't go on that little pumpkin patch ride that we had planned for Thanksgiving. I mean, a lot of things just come up and they just forget these things. That in itself is a journal to be able to keep down, and I really have them put down what the activities are being disrupted on, not what the symptoms are. That's something that's going to be in the medical records. They're going to give that journal to me eventually at some point in the case, so I can go through and I can extrapolate all the problems that they had with it. That really goes towards pain and suffering. Pain and suffering is not so much ouch, I hurt. Pain and suffering is really the disabilities from the ouch, I hurt, the things you can't do, the things that you have problems with. The journal is a way to be able to demonstrate that for again, memory purposes. Most importantly, it reminds them to tell the physicians that are treating them what their problems they're having on a day-to-day basis. When you go to the doctor and they say, okay, Mrs. Jones, how were you since the last time I saw you? And they say, well, I'm feeling a little bit better, and in my pain levels, I was, a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 before. Now I'm a 5 or a 3 or 4. Okay, well, that means you're getting better maybe from a pain scale-wise, but what does that mean? If your normal 5 is that you can't go out there and rake leaves, and you can't do gardening, you can't run a sweeper, or you can't lift boxes at work, or sit in front of a computer screen, you can't do that at a 5, 6, or 7, but you can do it at a 4, 3, or 2, now we understand. Now we've quantified what those pain scales mean. Now those activities are starting to make sense as to how that can be objective and brought into the case. So yeah, it's a large part, and it's a very important part to keep a journal. It helps me be able to shape the case with that information along the way.
Are those the things that help you determine whether it's a vase or a vase?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they can never do that activity, it's a vase. But if they can temporarily do that activity, It's a vase.
Now, a couple of years ago, my wife was involved in an accident, and she was hit from behind. And she's a small woman, frail, and she went to doctors, and they were trying to determine what it was that helped her along. And finally, we went to a friend of ours who helped her out with some chiropractic help, and was able to determine some of the things to help her get healed and better. And now during that time, she couldn't do the housework like she used to, and I had to help do a lot more of that and cut into my work schedule, and then we couldn't make out like we used to. Is that pain and suffering for me too?
Actually, it's called a loss of consortium. That actually is a loss.
Huh? Wow. I wish I'm gonna write that down for next time. So all of that stuff ties into the importance of having an attorney. Now, tell me the importance for a client in a case for having an attorney.
There's an old adage out there, Stevie, the man who represents himself has a fool for a lawyer. And there's some truth to that. And what it's really focusing on that statement is loss of objectivity. Objectivity is important because we all need to step back and take a look at the big picture. When you're representing yourself in any matter, whether it be a personal injury case, whether it be try to handle your own DUI, or whether you're in a criminal matter, or whatever the case may be, a legal matter is a legal matter. Personal injury is no less a legal matter than a bankruptcy, a divorce, a criminal matter. It's a legal matter. You're dealing with laws, and you have to have knowledge of laws. So the average person, the layperson, doesn't know that. They don't know what the laws are. So they don't know what their rights are. They don't know how the law handles that situation. To the fact situation, to be able to work with the facts and having a loss of objectivity. If you're in the middle of the fight, you're not seeing the big picture. Lawyers are hired specifically to come in and add objectivity to the fight, to bring that to be able to telegraph a punch with the insurance company in that situation as to, all right, you have the set of facts here. The way the opposition is going to take a look at that is based on my experience, based on us building a legal strategy, and the result's going to be because something that we put together. A person who tries to represent himself doesn't have a clue, and they are outgunned. They really don't realize what they're about to go up against, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's David and Goliath, but in this situation here, David doesn't have a sling when you represent yourself. When you have, or at least David doesn't have the skill to toss that rock and hit Goliath on the forehead. The attorney is the one who brings that logistics to that fight right there, makes that rock a guided missile straight to Goliath's head. It's fire for effect. That's what we do, and we do it with just our experience. We do it with the law. We do it with the craft of the law itself. So we bring a lot to the table.
So before we go to break, one word or phrase that would best describe what an accident attorney is here to do for their client.
Objectivity.
All right, objectivity, and when we come back, we've got plenty of stuff here still to cover. We're going to talk about some of the cases, how they resulted for the better for the clients, when we come back right here on Tulsa Law Talk.
What car did Kelley Blue Book rate as the safest car for 2017? Was it A, the Acura ILX, B, Audi A6, or C, that car your parents made you drive to high school? The answer right after this break.
Over 6,337 people are injured in a car crash each day in the United States, and each crash can affect your day-to-day lives from having nothing to drive to severe bodily injury. At Benedict Law Office, we are here to help you through this tragedy and get your life back on track. For over 25 years, Lloyd Benedict has been successfully handling and resolving personal injury cases. If you can't come to the office, we'll meet you, whether it's at your home, office, or by phone. Look us up on our website or call at 918-477-7000.
What car did Kelley Blue Book rate as the safest car for 2017? Was it A, the Acura ILX, B, the Audi A6, or C, that car your parents made you drive to the high school? Sadly, it wasn't C, but it was A, the Acura ILX.
Thanks for sticking with us. We're here on Tulsa Law Talk with Lloyd Benedict. He's the owner of Benedict Law Office. Now, why do you call yourself an office and not a law firm?
And we're back to the vase versus vase again. It's a preference. I think people associate the word law firm and law office as two different types of offices. one, the law firm, you think you have the partner, the associates, and the whole hierarchy of a law firm or larger organization. The law office is something you think in your mind as being smaller. And I think that most people believe that, even though I can call myself a law firm if I wanted to. I prefer the law office because I want the personalized feel. I am a sole practitioner, and I do like the small office.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay.
Office, law firm, I got the difference, But you're great guys. I've gotten to know you. And throughout the years, you've helped a lot of people. To mind, how has the journal helped really in one case? It was just really spells it out as how important it was.
What comes to mind is Nelda's case. That's not her name, but we call it Nelda's case because it was a sweet little old lady. And this happened years ago. And really it was kind of an epiphany for me at that point to realize how to do certain things on a case that really can personalize it. Give you some background on it. She was an 82-year-old lady out of Henrietta, Oklahoma. Small little collision. There wasn't much damage to her car. She went to a chiropractor and received some effective care right there. Went to the insurance company and gave them the bills and gave them all the evidence, and she'd some stuff, some out-of-pocket expenses, and just really making the necessary arguments I could to just fight for her case. It wasn't a big case, but to her it was everything. And so the insurance companies came back and they said, "We'll give you $500." Her chiropractor bill was $1,500. And I said, "Well, why?" And they said, "Well, one, there's not enough damage to her car, and so we don't think she's hurt. And, this is just all we're going to do. And if you don't like it, you can go to court." So I had to sit back and say, what am I going to do? Because it's always, there's a problem. What's the solution to it? Let's figure out the solution on this. So I got to talking to this little old lady, and again, we'll call her Nelda. And I said, tell me, Nelda, before the accident, how was life? What did you do versus after the accident? How did things change? What can we do? And she said, well, before the accident, I was attending church Sundays, Wednesdays, religiously. I was, there for every sermon. Unless I had a flu, I couldn't make it. That's the only time I missed. For 20 years, she had the same pattern at the church there in Henrietta, Oklahoma. I said, okay, how did it change after the collision? Well, for about a month, I couldn't attend church, and that's twice a week. I said, okay, well, did anybody know that? And she said, well, my friends, my congregation friends, the pastor knew. So I tried to go there one time. He said, why don't you sit in my office, Nelda? And I've got the sermon's going to be there on a speaker. You'll be able to hear it in my office, more comfortable chair, and that way you're still coming to church. She goes, I don't want to do that because really me coming to church is about fellowship and being there and the service and it's just not going to be the same. So I'm just going to stay home. So she did. And so I thought, well, I can talk to her pastor and I can talk to her friends and we can get letters and that'll be able to support that part of it.
Right.
I said, what else happened? She goes, well, on Monday nights, I used to cook for a ladies' social group. They'd rent the church out and we'd meet there and I'd cook for them. And I wasn't part of that group. They just asked me to cook for them because they loved my cooking. In fact, I think they really didn't want to socialize. They just want to come there just for my cooking. I said, well, how did that change since the collision? She goes, well, after that, I couldn't cook. I couldn't go there. I couldn't participate. I'd do the cooking and I'd do the cleaning. I didn't want those ladies to even have to mess with it. And they just loved my cooking. After that, I had to quit. After 5 years of doing that little event, I had to quit. I said, well, maybe we can get some letters from them too. She goes, I've, kept a journal of all this stuff right here. I said, did you? She goes, yeah. Every time I do stuff, I always write down in my journal. I said, do you mind if I get a copy of that? Sure enough, couldn't go to church. Sure enough, couldn't go to the ladies' meeting. One note right here, the ladies were bringing her meals. She couldn't even really cook for herself. Her injuries were that bad. I said, this is wonderful. This is some good stuff. So I just kind of formalized this stuff, and I kind of polished it up, cleaned it up, sent it off to the insurance company. I said, all right, insurance company, here's what we got. Just take the medical that you think is just running up bills from somebody who wasn't hurt in a low-impact accident. Just scoot that to the side for just a second. Take a look at this new evidence right here. I want you to take a look at this and see that if this goes to court, I'm going to bring the town pastor, I'm going to bring some congregation members, and I'm going to bring this Ladies Red Hat Society in there, and we're going to talk about Nelda. They're going to talk about her in ways that those medical records don't even think about. I don't even need the medical. We're going to just have those people appear on this, and they'll be able to tell you what she did before, and they'll be able to tell you what she couldn't do afterwards. Do you guys want to go to court? Well, let's, Mr. Benedict, let's go ahead and talk settlement on that situation. I settled that matter for a substantial amount of money, not because of the medical records, but because of being able to prove her lifestyle change.
Wow, that's like a right out of a cable show or something, cable movie that you would see that you wouldn't think, as just a regular guy out here, I wouldn't think how important all those things that go on in my everyday life are, and that they even have a value. That's crazy. That's incredible. Well, thank you, Lloyd, for being here on Tulsa Law Talk. And just to remind everyone, we're going to continue doing a series with Lloyd. So make sure that you tune in for our next show. And he's going to continue to help you more on the best ways to prepare yourself throughout, if you ever are in an accident, and if you've been in an accident, and be properly represented. I'm your host, Stevie Fernandez. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Stevie.
Good show. Good
All
work.
right, man. Appreciate it.
Tulsa Law Talk.
All right.